Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin and Cardano. Just want to update you once more because we have seen here some movement in the crypto markets. A clear message of the bears coming from Bitcoin and spreading across the crypto market. We can see that Bitcoin is heading down and most other cryptos are as well. As expected, typically the ones that did really well in the last few days, they are selling off a lot. For example, Avalanche, Terra Luna holding well, but also I gave you $80 as sort of the maximum it could do. And then also here we can see a sell off. Overall, yeah, everything in the red, and that is good because we are heading again into the direction of my target area for Bitcoin. So let's take a look at Bitcoin. We had here on the chart this pattern 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where imminently, I just have to expect here that we are in this pattern. Yeah, this is still my primary expectation, as I told you, and that even though there was a little bit of upside potential, it should not have moved above 41.5K. That would have invalidated this orange pattern here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It would not have invalidated necessarily the overall downtrend, but the imminent smaller scale micro moves here. That downtrend here, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern probably would have been invalidated. All of this here, what you see here in orange, is part of that larger wave 5, which is part of that larger wave C, which is part of that larger wave 2. Okay, so that is, in my view, going to head here into the target area between 20 and 29K. And this could now really be the beginning of the last wave down. Again, it's not a guarantee. This is only what I see in the chart right now. And it is very fragile, yeah, so it doesn't need to be like that at all. But the moves down here, and that is what I like to see, is that these moves down here, they look really impulsive. So exactly this one here as well looks rather impulsive. Huge red candle coming down. And if we go to the 1 hour chart, we can see here also a series of higher lows again, and higher highs, and yeah, also here now a lower low. So the lower highs and lower lows. That's what we look for. I gave you here that target area for that wave 4. That is exactly where we did move in for a while now. And I told you in the member live stream today that I do expect some volatility soon, that I do expect here some sort of breakout soon, because it can't carry on forever like that. But of course, nobody can say, you know, does it happen today? Does it happen tomorrow or whatever? But yeah, it's interesting because what the price did, you can see it broke out of this target area here of that wave 4. And by the way, these were 2 Fibonacci levels. So this target area was reached. I think that was a perfect forecast. Then we are now moving down here and possibly really in that last wave 5 down. Moved back into the descending broadening wedge, retested that former support line now as resistance, and is now heading down further. That's looking interesting. That is looking really, really interesting now, okay? Because from here, there isn't much support along the way. It can basically now drop quite fast. It can drop quite fast now because there on all of this move up here, there was not a lot of support. It just moved up in a straight line. And it can fall quite quickly as well, you know. All we would need now is maybe another catalyst or whatever, but it is preparing for its last move down. It's looking like it, at least, you know, and that is the primary expectation anyway. But of course, we don't know until we are there, really. The next big support I'm looking at here is the area here around 36.3. Yeah, so I put that on the chart. 36.3. That is where we found support. What did I do? 1 second. So this is the area where we found support here before. Yeah, that was the 22nd of Feb, but also here on the 4th of Feb and before. So that is an important level, 36.3K. And then below that, I think a key one will be the previous low here at 34.3, 34.4. So that will be the next support after that, and then a very, very important one. And unfortunately, before we go through that one, we don't really know if the wave 4 really was over. It's always a game of probabilities. That is all it is. And that is the 33K level. We need to break that. And then if we zoom out, we talked about this, what could be forming here earlier. I shared it with the Telegram members. I think I even talked about it in the previous video. Here, this head and shoulders, which could be forming, and we already see this, leg coming down now. And I think, yeah, we're getting close here. Yeah, and if you break these support levels step by step, then we're gonna head down. I think we can call the neckline here 36.3K. If that drops, you drop fast. Yeah. So looking interesting, heading further into the direction of the primary target area between 20 and 29K, all based on the Elliott Wave method. Now I had a question in the previous video somewhere about fractals, and that some other YouTubers share fractals. That means extracts of previous chart moves and to understand how the chart could move on. Well, I did that as well before. I did that, I think, on the week, last weekend or something. So I had here the last three moves when a bull market was over. I showed you here the patterns. Yeah, I think that this was the 2013 one, this was the 2017 one, and this 2021, I think so. And if I just take the one from 2017, we could perfectly overlay this one. So because someone else apparently shared fractals and said, if it goes according to the fractal, we should now see a significant move up. Well, I don't know, but according to this here, we wouldn't see that. Yeah, because what you see here, if I add this to the chart, you can see that it doesn't work perfectly, does it? But you can see how it very well matches what we're doing. Yeah, and you can see that we had those two peaks here. Then we came down, yeah, found a low. And if I move that out, just remember that low here. Yeah, that low here. We had here this significant wave 3 low. So that worked out very well. Okay. Then we came up, we did the same this time with two peaks, moved down here, wave 3 low. There was a low here. Then we moved up. We've just done that in that wave 4. And then we were coming down. Now we are starting to move sideways here. Can you see that? This is basically probably here. Can you see that? Yeah, if I overlay that like that, now you can maybe see it better. Now we're in this phase of the drop, maybe here or maybe already here. And what I said when I made that video, it can take a while now, that sideways movement, okay? Because depending on also how I put this up here, because obviously the relations, they might move, but it pretty much works in the same wave pattern, doesn't it? And what you can expect now is possibly further sideways movement. This is at least possible. It doesn't need to happen. Can happen faster, but there you go. And in the end, you're going to land here in the target area. Even though this was close here, but depending on how I move it, you land in the target area. Okay, so this works out. It can mean that we have a lot of sideways movement, yeah? Absolutely. So this was the 2017 one. We could even try it with the 2013 one. Maybe that works better. Let's just take a look. And I haven't really adjusted that because you need to just move it in a little bit so you get the relations. But even this one, perfect. I mean, look at that. You get your maybe more like that. Maybe more like that. So again, you had your two peaks here. This doesn't work out that well with that low there. But then you came down, had your low here, wave 3 low, came up, had another significant low here. That was the wave 3 low. Then you come up. And again, it's just working out very similar. And if I probably had more time, I would just put that together, but you can see how this works out. So you can play around with these, In the end, it's important to understand that they move in the same patterns, because sentiment shifts in the same patterns, all over again. So yeah, I think these fractals confirm that we can go down from here. Absolutely. And that would be in line with my primary expectation anyway. And the Elliott wave count that we should see here an expanded flat with the wave C coming lower than the wave A. Yeah. And we've now started another downtrend, broke out of the pattern to the downside. So I would now expect further downside going forward. It looks like the indicators are now turning as well. That's what I've been looking for. The daily now turning to the downside as well. The MACD here, for example, The RSI was anyway in the bearish range. These are clearer messages than we've had throughout this sideways movement. You can now see on the 4-hour chart as well, a bearish crossover on the MACD. It dropped again into the bearish range on the RSI. So these are the clear messages that I wanted to see, that basically confirm that, yeah, we can head further down from here. Looking at ADA, not too many news. Again, still in this descending wedge, and ADA as well, dropping a little bit after it moved up here to 92 cents. That's what I told you when we were down here, that it could probably without a problem retest here the resistance of that descending wedge. And I think now we're probably going to head down again to the support line, which would be here around 75 cents of that descending wedge. Okay, I think that is the next support level, again around 75 cents. ADA indicators turning around as well. 4-hour chart, RSI back in the bearish range. 4-hour MACD gonna print here a bearish crossover. It's already done that. So also here we can now expect a bit of a turnaround, yeah, to the downside. And the daily RSI is fairly overbought still, so it hasn't really recovered as other cryptos. And ADA is just so oversold. I mean, it is not technically oversold here, but the indicators are so low that I think in the next major move up, when finally Bitcoin does its move, then ADA should also do really, really well, because the indicators are just so low. Yeah, let's see. It's pretty much gone down in a straight line, yeah, with a few peaks here, but surprisingly little moves to the upside throughout this whole downtrend. But then again, it did something similar here back in June, July, until it then finally started to peak again. Okay, so it just needs to correct that crazy move here to the upside, and all of the previous moves to the upside need to be corrected before we can then see another all-time high. That's my view here on Bitcoin and Cardano. Hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please smash the like button and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then check out the channel membership, where you could get access to the Telegram live chat, the Discord server with yeah, my buy and sell orders, and lots of additional content, 2022 forecasts, all sorts of things, and a weekly live stream. Then yeah, check out the channel membership. You can do that either on my website or here on YouTube. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.